right now. Is Ms. Anderson here? No,
Okay,
I
so
don't
hopefully
see-
she'll join us shortly. So we'll go to the speakers right now. The first speaker is going to be Ms. Rose. Are you with us? Ms. Rose from CCRB. Oh, Mr. Rose.
Mr.
Ms. I thought, yeah. You can unmute yourself. I see you there.
Yeah, for some reason it keeps taking me back off mute. Good
Oh,
evening.
yes,
Thank you very
Mr.
much for allowing me
Sorry,
to
my
speak.
apologies.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. I am the Director of Outreach for the Civilian Complaint Review Board. I just wanted to greet you all. The CCRB is an agency that's responsible for taking complaints about police misconduct. So if an officer uses force that's unnecessary and excessive, if officers are being discourteous to members of the public, abusing their authority, or are using offensive language towards members of the public, the CCRB is responsible for investigating, mediating, and administratively prosecuting those claims. We would definitely like to be in the community more frequently. As the outreach director, I'm responsible for ensuring that the message of the CCRB is brought forth to members of the public. If anybody on this call has a group of individuals that they would like us to do a presentation for, I'm going to leave my information in the chat. Please don't hesitate. Give me a call. We also have additional initiatives such as CCRB Courtside, where we will go to recreational spaces like a basketball court, handball court, speak to a basketball team, football team, baseball team, and we'll provide that information regarding the Right to Know Act, what should be expected from a police encounter, and what to do if a police encounter goes left. Last but not least, we also have an initiative called CCRB Court or CCRB Block by Block, where we will literally walk and canvass the neighborhood with members of the public to get the message across of the agency. We want to meet people where they're at. Therefore, we're willing to go to where they're at in order for us to get that information across. I would love to walk with members of the public. We'll follow your lead. You know the community better than we do, and we would definitely like to be a part of the process. And I know I said last but not least, but we also want to volunteer more with members of the public. So if you do have any volunteer initiatives that you would like for us to participate in, don't hesitate. Let me know. I would love to plant a tree, hand out food at a pantry, clean up a park. I love community cleanups. So if you have those things happening in your neighborhood, please just think of the CCRB in addition to us. So thank you very much for letting me speak. I will leave my information in the chat.
Thank you for attending. Any questions for him, for Mr. Rose? Okay, so we thank you for your contact information. We'll pass it on to the board members. Ida, are you with us?
Lucy, I had a question.
Go ahead. I didn't see your hand raised.
I'm sorry. My question is, do you also work in tandem? You have a collective that you work with, or you work individually?
Can you please repeat that? A part of that cut out.
No, I was trying to find out. You said you do work conjoint within the community. Do you have a team that you work with, or do you work independently? Yes.
So I lead a 3-member team. We're currently hiring 2 additional members. So hopefully by summertime it will be a 5-member team. Normally my Brooklyn coordinator would be on these calls, but let's say you need more than one coordinator somewhere, then we'll come out as a group to achieve anything that is being requested of us.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Any additional questions? Okay. Pete from the fire department, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, how are you? I guess everybody wants to know about the fire on Brighton Fifth Street.
Okay.
Well, they had it was a private dwelling, a bungalow type building, and it was a heavy fire on arrival. And there was reports from some of the occupants that occupants that had left the building, that there was still an occupant in the basement, and they were met with a large body of fire at the rear door, where the other occupants had showed them how to get there, and they went down there, but it was just too much fire for them to really get in there, so they had to wait for the hand line, and by that time he had succumbed to the flames. and the smoke. The problem I had heard, I wasn't at the fire, but the problem I had heard with the fire was that there was a lot of clutter in the apartment, and that's a major problem for us because people can't get in and out when there's a lot of clutter. And another thing I had heard that the fire possibly started from the lithium-ion batteries. We've been going to a lot of fires lately where the lithium-ion batteries are starting a fire. So just be careful for fire safety. To really, those aren't good things to be charging in your house. Anything with a lithium-ion battery if you're not there, you really shouldn't be charging anything that has a battery, such as like even the computers have battery. I know a lot of kids, they adults too, they charge them on their bed and they leave them unattended. It's a big problem for us. So, and the scooters as well. Those you definitely shouldn't charge in your apartment unattended because they go very fast if there's a problem.
Well, we thank you. Any questions for the fire department? Anybody's hand is risen? Miss Anderson, I see you joined us. Give me a few minutes.
Barbara's hand is up.
Oh, no, that's it. I need a few minutes because I'm walking to my apartment, so no
Okay,
rush.
no problem. Let us know when you're ready. Barbara, go ahead.
Yes,
Thank you.
yeah, my hand is, Mike, I wanted to know, what is the city doing to let people know this or to protect them from this, getting out the word? I mean, is anything in the works on this issue?
As far as what, the lithium-ion batteries?
Yes.
I've seen it in the news a couple of times. I mean, I'm just from the local firehouse, so we're really not. I think that would be more of a question for community affairs, but I'm sure they have something in the works with an initiative to get the word out for people, like they do with keep the door closed in the apartments, just that something like that for fire safety. But maybe Sandra Santos. I think I saw her on here. She might know a little more about that.
Yes, Sandra Sanchez, FDNY Community Affairs. We have certainly have a one-pager. The truth of the matter is that we've seen the number of lithium-ion battery fires almost double between last year and just at the start of this year. So we are certainly doing a targeted approach. We're working with our fellow sister agencies to make sure that even the language that's provided to some restaurants, because you know that some restaurants use e-bikes to help deliver their food in a timely manner, that we are working cross-agency to make sure that we are communicating clearly and properly to the audience that will understand. And hopefully make changes on how they are storing their batteries and how they choose to charge their batteries as well. I will be sure tomorrow to share with the community board that one pager. It would be wonderful if you could share it in an e-blast, have businesses, bids, share that information with people that may use e-bikes to help keep New York City to be safe.
If I could just add one other thing, I know a lot of the buildings in the area have elevators. I've seen numerous videos of people taking e-bikes into elevators and they catch fire in the elevator. That's a deadly situation. So if you do that, please don't. And if you see somebody doing them, inform them not to do it, and certainly don't get in the elevator with them if they're taking an e-bike in an elevator.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, and we'll expect that flyer that will be given to the office. Appreciate it, and we'll circulate it around. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit out of order. Our Assemblywoman is here, Mattel Fuentes. You can unmute yourself, and you'll have 10 minutes max.
Evening, everyone. Fortunately, I don't need 10 minutes tonight, although I appreciate that very much. It's always really a pleasure to see my friends and neighbors at the CB13 meeting. I want to just give a shout out to everybody who came out yesterday. I have a couple of bullets that I wanted to go through. Wanted to thank everyone who came out to our town hall meeting last night. We had a nice gathering at PS 329. I think some other folks here will tell you a little bit about it, but my office was pleased to partner with the Coney Islanders for an Oceanside Ferry. And we literally had members of the city, we had EDC, and we kind of shared information in terms of what is going on. There was some new information shared, which I think will be shared later on. So I'm not gonna do that right now, but it was really a great event. And I think we need to stay on top of what is going on. A lot of people on the Zoom are concerned in terms of what is happening vis-a-vis the ferry. So we need to be paying attention. I see some members of the group here tonight, so I'm expecting them to make some remarks. I see some people that were in the audience. So I just want to thank the group and to say that it was great to partner with them for that event. In fact, next Tuesday, I'm having another town hall meeting, Tuesday, May 31st, from 6 to 8. I'm doing another town hall meeting, this time just for NYCHA residents. Some of you may know that we're in some unprecedented times, and NYCHA has a couple of proposals set forth which will affect the future of public housing in New York City as we know it. So between the RAD program, their blueprint for change, the proposed preservation trust, there's a lot of lingo that's being bandied about. And a lot of people, frankly, don't know the difference between one or the other. I took a poll of local residents and some of our leaders, and they said, Assemblywoman, I want to be honest with you, I don't know. No one's told us anything about it. And I was completely stunned. So I'm bringing NYCHA in front of the community. All the 9 developments are coming out. I'll have flyers ready tonight, and I'm going to ask that everyone help me circulate it in the community. But we're going to have NYCHA there, as well as some other groups who were against some of the measures that NYCHA is taking with regards to the Preservation Trust. So there's some advocacy happening around the city. There's a 5-borough group of residents called Residents to Preserve Public Housing. So they'll also be there so that our leaders and residents can hear both sides and kind of decide for themselves what they would like. In recent days, you may have noticed there's been a flurry of activities coming from our office. We had a Let's Talk Women's Health event with Councilwoman Shahana Hanif. Really great event. I was in Albany, but we had the chief women's health officer from New York City Health and Hospital Corporation. We had 3 women's health medical doctors from Maimonides. It was a nicely attended event. And we really are getting the sense that people want more events like these, talking about health, talking about all sorts of things that tend to be taboo or that people sometimes feel a little uncomfortable speaking about. We also had the naloxone training with Ida G. Israel. We gave out the kit. Some of you were there. Thank you for coming. And if anyone else needs some extra kits, just reach out to our office and let us know. We also have COVID tests as well. As you know, that's on the rise. So I'm urging people to play safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, and let us know if you need to come by for any hand sanitizer or mask. We have plenty at the office. Last but not least, I'm probably going to be announcing this tomorrow, but I'll give you guys a sneak peek. It's regarding some funding that I was able to secure for our district. I always feel proud and excited to share this news. I tend to announce my funding in waves. I'll do a first wave, a second, and so on. So as you know, we passed the New York State budget about a month ago, and I was able to support many of the nonprofit organizations on the Coney Island Peninsula, as well as Brighton Beach and Bay Ridge. So on the Coney side, we have the Jewish Community Council, JASA, the Jewish Board of Children and Family Services. Each of them will be getting $100,000 for senior services, mental health services, etc. We have the Brighton Neighborhood Association. They'll be getting $50,000. And we also have the Guild for Exceptional Children who'll be getting $75,000. So I like to put everything out there very transparent. I announce all of my grants. I realize not everybody does that. And after this first wave, I'll be announcing a second one in the coming days and ask people to keep their eyes and ears open. So those are announcements from my office. I see my chief of staff is here, Charmaine Mangaroo. So I want to thank her for being here. And I'll stick around if anyone has any questions, Lucy.
Thank you. And let me apologize that no one attended from CB13. I had to work late last night. We didn't get off my board meeting till 11, and Eddie had an emergency, and the other 2 staff members were already had previous engagements. But please send us the information for the 31st, and we'll make every effort to attend.
Thank you very
So
much.
my
And I'll
apologies.
say, oh no, please, thank you. The meeting was recorded last night, so we're waiting to get a copy of that and we'll make it available. The only reason why I'm not going into detail is because I see the co-president is here, I see the vice president here, so you're going to hear plenty about the meeting, and I'll let them do the talking. And I just
No problem. I just wanted to let you know that my apologies that we didn't show up.
Just one correction, Lucy. There were a few members from Community Board 13 was there. I was there.
I understand that, Jeff. What I was saying, I
I know,
apologize
Brian.
for me and the staff.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, that was not
Thank
explained.
you. Any questions for the Assemblywoman? Okay, Assemblywoman, I do have a question, and correct me if I'm wrong. And we could speak offline if you want, if you would like.
Sure.
I was told a while ago, before I became chair, when I was trying to advocate for residential parking during the summer, that it would have to go through the assembly, some type of legislation. I was trying to figure out which elected official we can reach out to have this discussion. But they told me it was to speak, I would have to go through the assembly. Is that a fact, or do you know who or which elected official I can reach out to with that?
So if memory serves me well, we've had this sort of conversation in years past, many, many times when we've had conversations about the coming changes and the coming sort of attractions, if you will, on the peninsula. I'm remembering a couple of vivid conversations where, you know, we asked previous sitting members of the city council. There could be some legislation that needs to be passed from the state. So I can't say with certainty, but I suppose this is something that everyone should be. It's a conversation for everyone. I don't think it's one or the other. It's one of those things, just like when we talk about transit, we talk about schools, we talk about the environment, everybody has to pitch in and everybody has a role to play, but I could certainly look into it very specifically for you. I know it's something we've been talking about for a long time.
Yeah, that's going to be one of my goals, if we can work on on that and see what officials I can work with on that. I don't think it's going to be that successful because I've been here 30 years, but things are getting really ridiculous. And if other locations have it, which I was going to have Eddie research with other community boards, how were they able to get residential parking only in their areas for certain months? Because that would be a phenomenal thing here for us.
I've actually asked that question too. I'm having a deja vu of asking the local precinct. So if we can make it happen together, I think we'll be, we'll be well received.
If I get elected again next month, you have 2 years to work with me. If not, then you got the next Joe Schmo. So thank you.
I'm on it.
Okay.
I'll get back to you as soon as I find something out.
Any other questions for the Assemblywoman?
I just want to say thank you to you for a lot of things, but 3100 Brighton 2nd Street, your staff person is wonderful. We're in touch, and I think we're going to get the gas on for all this, half that building, and that's a win. So I thank you for your Batista, Anthony Batista. He's wonderful.
Yes, it's our pleasure. I always talk about Anthony and he blushes, but he's really on it. He's on it. And he's knocking it out of the park, helping a lot of constituents, and we're proud. So thank you.
Thank you for remembering Brighton Neighborhood Association, your thoughts. Thank you.
Yeah, really honored that we could do something for you this year, Pat.
Okay, is there one more additional question for her? We got 30 seconds according to my timer. Okay, well, we thank you, and hopefully you'll stay around to listen to the constituents' issues.
Of course, thank you.
Okay, Craig, 3 minutes.
Thank you, Lucy.
You're welcome.
On behalf of Coney Islanders for an Oceanside Ferry, I want to thank the Community Board for distributing our meeting flyer in your weekly email news blast. We held our community update meeting, as you heard last night. We learned a lot of fresh news from EDC. When EDC last reached out to the community through the community board in December of 2021, they said they were putting the project on hold of building the ferry at the creek, but expected to resume dredging after June 2022 and were anticipating beginning ferry operations on the creek no earlier than late 2022. As a reminder, EDC put the project on hold after community members from the west end of Coney Island, not the agencies that were supposed to be overseeing the project and protecting the public, caught their dredging contractor violating critical safety stipulations in their dredging permit. Last night, we heard from EDC's new executive director of NYC Ferry, who told us that they have put the project on indefinite hold for two reasons. First, EDC has begun a fast-tracked engineering study of what it would take to safely build a ferry landing on the ocean side of Coney Island. Infrastructure like that ain't cheap. They will need to build out a breakwater wall or jetty to provide shelter for the ferry so they could safely convey passengers between the dock and the vessels. And second, EDC found that since their last studies were done 3 years ago, that their predecessors underestimated how much sand is migrating into the creek. EDC needs to recalculate how much dredging they will need to do now and in the future. Since their current permit doesn't allow them to pull out the sand faster than it accumulates, they would need to go through a new permit process for a new dredging permit. That will reopen the round of public review of a new environmental impact statement, which we know from the last time was defective to begin with. So the fact that EDC is actively studying an oceanside option and reevaluating the challenges at the creek was really, really good news for the Coney Islanders for an oceanside ferry. EDC said they anticipate having the next community update meeting sometime over the summer, so stay tuned. I want to thank also Jeff Sanoff, Pat O'Brien, and Joe Packer for attending last night. Hopefully, we will see more members of the community board at future meetings on the subject, and thanks again for helping us to get the word out.
No, thank you. Less than 3 minutes. Appreciate it. Ida Sanoff.
I too was at the Assemblywoman's Town Hall meeting with New York City EDC. This ferry is not just a transportation issue, because if you take the ferry, remember that you're going to be left off under the FDR Drive in Manhattan, not in front of your doctor, not in front of your Macy's, and you still got to get on the subway or the bus. And this is not just a Kaiser Park issue, it's a Coney Island issue, it's a Seagate issue, shoreline issue. We have said from the very, very beginning that this process was seriously flawed, and it looks like that is coming to pass. They admitted that almost all of the sand they took out last summer has come back already. Plus, there were 2 additional parcels they wanted to do last summer, and they didn't even get to those yet. Our concern is that now, if they, for whatever reason, decide not to go with Steeplechase Pier, they're going to look back at the creek. And they've admitted that if that is the case, they must dredge a much, much wider area. Means 2 bad things. Means they're going to be exposing far more of that toxic legacy sediment that's going to be exposed, okay? And people are going to be exposed to repeatedly. Every kid who goes to my estuary day, and it's my park day, and plays on the shoreline. Everybody in Seagate who's got their nice little private beach they're going into the water to. This is still a major, major health and safety issue. The other problem which they ignored is that Calvert Vogue Park is built on top of a toxic waste dump. They ignored that in the original EIS. It's starting to show some erosion and some wear and tear. And if they decide to dredge a wider area, we're concerned that this whole toxic mess that is Calvert Vogue Park might fall into the creek. So we're just at the very, very beginning here. And there were not 1, not 2, not 3, but 7 safety violations where the special conditions in the permit were ignored, and yet the community found that out. And we briefly touched on air quality, because many people in the community have been concerned about air quality and the lack of monitoring as it is, and what impacts are going to be caused by this ferry and all the pollution that's coming into it. And last but not least, it was interesting to hear them say, after they insisted that there was no way on God's earth that they could bring a ferry into Steeplechase Pier, that all of a sudden they're going to be looking at a study. And oops, the big shot from EDC slipped. And he said, well, you know, the boats back then that they had are a lot better than the boats that they have today. You know, what problem, you know, our little boats here. So what they were doing was 100 years ago.
Try to wrap it up, wrap it up.
So stay tuned. As Craig said, there's a lot more to come.
Thank you, as always. Christopher, 3 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Christopher D. Grimes, Transit Riders Council member and ACTA. Very important announcement to make because everyone's been asking me this question, including Chairperson Lucy, about the reduced fare Omni. As of June, we should be starting up the next step of people if they want to switch from the reduced fare Metro card to the Omni card or the app. The choice is yours. The information was sent to Community Board 13 with the steps. It is very simple to start making sure that your information is up to date and please make sure if you already have an email address like related to Accessorize, you can combine that with your Omni because Omni will also be going with Accessorize as well. I will put this information into the chat again. And please, God bless you, whoever sneezed. As I was saying before, it is, as we're going to be starting to doing the upgrade changes, we will, please make sure all your information is up to date and we don't need a picture at this time. Thank you.
Great, under 3 minutes, love it. Okay, Troy McDonald. Well, McDonald's the last name. Are you with us? Going once? Twice?
No, he's not, but I'm going to stand in for him. It's Tyrone McDonald from Neighborhood Housing Services. My name is Byron Todman.
Hi, Byron, 3 minutes.
Thank you. I want to discuss 2 programs. NHS is working with the City of New York and the Enterprise Foundation on the Emergency Housing Voucher Program. Basically, we're seeking small landlords of 1 to 4 unit properties who are interested in helping to house their fellow New Yorkers. The program is similar to a lot of programs that you hear, like City FEPS or Section 8. The city will be paying roughly 70% of the prospective tenant's rent. The twist with this program is the support that's being offered. In other programs, once the tenant is placed, that's it. With this program, if the tenant is placed and there are issues, the city's public engagement unit will be there to work with the small homeowner and the tenant to resolve whatever issues. Like City FEPS, they are offering a 1-month hold for landlords while the unit is processed through the program. Another new feature that they're offering is a small repair loan that would help bring the unit up to housing quality standards. And when I say small, it's in the area of 10 to 15,000. I am going to put my contact information in the chat. So if anyone is interested, you can reach out to me. Also, I want to mention that NHS has been awarded a grant from the Affordable Housing Corporation to provide up to $20,000 to Brooklyn homeowners for home repairs, not upgrades, repairs. I'm going to also put the link to our website where you can download the application. The application contains eligibility information, income information, and a little summary on the requirements for the grant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Selena, do you have a question for him? Or is that, oh, that's my hand over Selena. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. I did have a question now that I was looking at that here, and I apologize. Oh, when you said repairs, so we all know we got hit by Sandy and build a lot of houses all the way in the back somewhere. I don't know where they built them, but they weren't on the people's property. Will those people be eligible to apply as a repair for the so-called repairs that Build It repaired it? Build It back?
To correct some of the repairs that Building Back made? Yes.
I would say correct, because according to them, they did it properly. But I know some people that have had their boiler systems and that they have no heat. So, but Build It Back says, the boiler was good when we plugged it in. I mean, when we installed it, but a month later. So would that be considered one of like a category that it's a home repair? Because
Yes,
now it's quote unquote dead?
on the list of eligible repairs, you have boiler repairs as well. So,
okay.
So boiler repairs / replacement. So I will put our website and the link to the grant application in the chat. Oh, and I'm remiss. I'm going to squeeze in something else. We are offering an accessibility grant for veterans. It could be a veteran homeowner or a veteran tenant. So there is a grant for veterans to make their home more accessible. So it can be for a homeowner or tenant.
Brian, we have one question, Tamisha, and then I'll close on the part of your information. You have to unmute yourself, sweetie. You have to unmute yourself. There you go.
It's not only just a question, it's more just also a concern for me with what he just said. He said he would give the landlords to fix money to fix the properties, but also these landlords are collecting this money, but they're not fixing these properties. Because I'm a tenant and I'm going through it where I'm living right now, and I'm a PEPS tenant, and there's nothing in my property have been fixed, and I've been here from 2016. My child almost died twice in this apartment. So I'm kind of concerned that the landlord are getting these money, but they're not helping us as tenants. I'm in a 24 building apartment storage, and this old building is complaining that we're going through it. So they're getting the money for the PEPs and stuff, but we're not getting the assistance we need here in Coney Island, really.
So to partially address that issue, the money's just not given to the landlord. The money's actually given to the contractor once the repairs are complete. And there is another not-for-profit agency that monitors the construction to ensure that it's done.
Okay. So I'm gonna leave it there, but we thank you. And Tamisha, is that if I'm pronouncing it correctly, please reach out to the office and we'll see what agency can reach out to you. Thank you.
You can also share her information in the chat with me if she'd like, Lucy. Thank you.
I didn't want to throw it at you. That's why I said we'll contact her.
Yes,
where we can go. But yes, the Assemblywoman has volunteered to help you. Well, her office will help you. Thank you. Okay, now we have, is that Samantha from Ari's office? Or is that just a Samantha? Sam, is that you?
That's Samantha.
Okay, we'll go back to her. Troy Olson from Ina's office.
Hi, my name is Troy Olson. I'm the new legislative director for Councilwoman Ina Bernikoff. This is my first week. Wanted to jump on this meeting and introduce myself, and I'm prepared to take any questions you have. If I don't have the answer offhand, I'll make a note of it. And I'm happy to, not just legislative stuff, but if you have a constituent issue that you'd like me to take to the office as well.
Okay. Any questions for the Councilwoman's office? Craig.
Hi, Troy.
Hey, how you doing?
So we've had a real serious problem in Brighton Beach with out of control fruit and vegetable vendors that consistently vend products beyond their allowable vending spaces. And the Department of Consumer Affairs, which is now some other agency name, has been pretty lax about helping us out with any enforcement measures. And so I had written to the last city council to ask them to consider some kind of a rule change that would force the fruit and vegetable vendors to physically mark out what their allowable space is, in the same way that they're required to do that under the unenclosed sidewalk cafe permits, which is the same agency, by the way, that issues those permits. And we never got a response to that issue. I was wondering if I could forward that to you as the new legislative director so that you could take a fresh look at that. Because if we can't come up with something that's more self-enforcing, we're going to continue to have to live with these out-of-control fruit and vegetable stoop line stand operators.
Thank you for that. And so when you say vendors, you mean the ones off from the curb? Because we actually—
I mean the stores themselves, the people that are selling, they're required to get a stoop line stand permit to do that, and they're required to leave 9.5-foot clearance for pedestrians. And we have a situation on Brighton 12th Street where they barely leave 2 feet for pedestrians to pass. It's an ongoing flagrant violation that is not enforced. If they were required to mark out the vending space like they do with sidewalk cafes, it would become much more of a self-enforcing rule.
Okay. We actually, I asked for the clarification because on Monday, we were actually going around with the Department of Sanitation and talking to business owners about basically that similar sidewalk space and accessibility issue. And we did a social media post about it as well. I think we talked to about 10 or 11 or so in 3 different neighborhoods, and Brighton Beach was one of them for a little bit. But these very similar things, but if we could, it seemed to be pretty effective. I was there for the conversation.
I have 2 more people and I have 2 minutes for your clock. So
okay, I'm sorry. So I'll write that down and please forward that to me. My email is below.
I will. I took it from the chat. Thank you very much.
2 minutes I have left. Yelena, 1 minute.
Okay, I just want to add to something what Greg said. It's not about only lack of enforcement. I do know you came. I'm a Brighton Beach Bid executive director, Troy. I know you came to Brighton. You spoke to 2 or 3 businesses. We really need meeting because I am the one who's screaming and yelling about soup licenses, illegal vending activities. I would greatly appreciate if you can help to arrange the meeting with interested party, community board, myself, Kings Highway Bid, and on, with Department of Consumers and Workers Protection in order to discuss those issues. Sanitation is good, but $100 ticket is the cost of doing business. Thank you.
Yelena, do you have his contact information?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and he has yours, so you guys can connect.
No, he doesn't have mine yet, but he will.
I'm sure. But Troy, if you want
Excuse me, Luz, is that a threat or a promise?
That's a laugh. If you would like
it's a laugh, Barbara. There are some new people in the office, so they don't know who I am, but he will know.
Okay, Elena.
What?
You guys can talk privately, get each other's contact information on the chat, so you can schedule that, and of course, let us be involved. We really appreciate it. Just for a point, she's absolutely right. When we do email your office, we get a remote response, and the response is, hey, we'll get back to you in a few days. So hopefully you'll get some more staff and you'll be able to pick up
Madam
the phone.
Chairperson, we have been trying to clean up this mess with the produce stores for years. I'm just thrilled that the councilwoman came down and that the question was there. A couple of stores did back up, but they're out there again. So we appreciate
Pat,
trying, and thank you.
Pat, we're in 5 months of new elect, so everybody's looking at something. But I know they're short-staffed. People email them and they receive responses saying, we'll get back to you in a day or 2. Hopefully they'll get some, additional staff members and they'll be able to pick up the phone. But Yelena, in the meantime, please speak to each other and give him your information. One more question, Christopher, go ahead, and that's it.
and I'm going to be quick. Reminding you also, we're glad we're talking about stores, but we also need to remind them not to park at bus stops as well, because we have been problems reporting of delayed of bus service on the 68 and the B1 along Brighton Beach. That needs to be addressed also. The cars need to be off the bus stops at all costs. And that store you're talking about, Brighton 12, it is interrupting a bus stop. So the buses cannot come in a full safety. They have to come in sometimes proceed with caution. They have been alert already. So please make sure that we get a clear lane. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good evening. Okay, the next person, Samantha, are you back with us?
Yes, pardon me. Trying to help a constituent. My
Okay, no problem.
Real quick. But
let me speak, sweetie. You have 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, the council member just wants everyone to know that he finally got a date on public hearing about the night accountability resolution, which will take place in June. He wants everyone to know that he's working with DOT about the crosswalk on Surf Avenue and 37th Street. And also he went to Mark Twain today to express his concern and support about programs that they are questioning about. And also he says that he condemned gun violence in Marlboro this afternoon. And also I just want to say that I did attend the Assemblywoman's meeting yesterday about the ferry, and it was very informative. And also on a personal note, I was just happy that I went, because I thought that I had a particular location in mind that I thought would be best for the community, but it was interesting to see the different opinions. So thank you for allowing me to speak, and thank you for having me yesterday. That's all.
Samantha, can you relate a message to the councilman that on June 1st, we will be having a transportation meeting? A couple of the items on the agenda is regarding the lights in the area and with the schools. So, and cameras, et cetera. We would appreciate if he or you would attend.
Yep, will do.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on. Borough President's office, are you with us? Brooklyn Borough President's office, Antonio's office?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Hello, dear. 5 minutes. Actually, you're new, so I'll give you 6. Go ahead.
That's fine. I will take a couple. It's fine. Hello, all of you. I am, yes, my first time actually attending the meeting virtually. I think at least since the changing of the administration. I'm Hassan. I work in the Community Affairs Unit at the Borough Hall. So greetings to all of you. Just a couple of announcements that I wanted to make that I feel would be relevant to all of you. One is that the BP, Antonio has been very adamant to resume the public programming at the Borough Hall. And that's what I think we have started to do it. We're gonna have the it's pretty late notice announcement, but we're gonna have the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage event tomorrow from 6 to 8. So feel free to come in. I know the CB13 has a very sizable population of South Asian Americans in Brighton Beach. But of course, anyone is welcome to attend. But I think a broader point is that we're going to have a lot more active programming and events at the Borough Hall in the summer, hopefully. And, a lot of times I see pretty familiar faces in a lot of these events. So I just want to make sure, and I think we are trying to make very active efforts that the audience or the crowd, right, that come to our events, they reflect the diversity of the borough. So I know it's a bit of a trek to come to Borough Hall. I myself live in Gravesend, but please, you can always find the events information on our website, but then these events are open to the public, right? That we do at Borough Hall, at least that ones that are advertised on the website. So please, I'm going to leave my contact information in the chat box. Feel free to contact me. Feel free to disturb me. I'm the main point of contact for all the stakeholders and for organizations in CB 13, 14, and 15. So if you have any questions, please, I would recommend to hit me up. and we can go on from there.
Hassan, the question that we have and everyone else has, board members list. It was promised the beginning of the month. You have any idea when we're getting the renewals and when we're getting new appointees?
Yeah, my understanding that it would be, the process would be completed by the middle of June.
Middle of June?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's my.
Lucy, I'm sorry. This is Ina Guzenfeld.
Okay, Ina, let him go on, and then we'll let you come in.
That's
okay. I have a better answer. I have
Okay,
answer for
well,
you
I want to know what they told him, and then you can tell me what you really know, because I like to hear what people are being told.
Absolutely.
And then find out what should be.
Okay, I'm sorry, Hassan.
No,
I'll hold off.
That's fine. All good, all good. My understanding is that it will be mid of June. I could have said tomorrow, but then, that's what I think. I can give you a confirmed response as soon as tomorrow by, I can ask my community, the director of community board. So a confirmed report, I can give you a confirmed response by tomorrow, but I think is that it would be hopefully done by the end of June. It's taking a bit of time because Antonio just ran on a promise to kind of reform the process of community board and how people are appointed. So, we kept saying to all CB members that we need time, but I can give you a confirmed response by tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Concern is, as many community boards concerns are, they had their elections, people get reelected, and then they're no longer board members. So then they have to start the process again. But we'll see when we cross that bridge. But
I totally hear you. Yeah, I get it.
Okay, Ina, what story did you hear now?
Okay, so I know that according to the charter, the borough president's offices are required to make their appointments by May 31st. So my understanding is that these appointments will be announced in the coming days.
Well, according to the charter, many people don't follow it, so I'm not surprised. So, but thank you.
Great. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And again, I please don't quote me out.
It's okay, Hassan. We understand.
I would reach out to the CTU hopefully by tomorrow.
And if you can get that information to us and let them know that Ina said the charter says the end of May. And as I said in another meeting, and Craig corrected me, 1940 was when they revised the charter. Correct? I'm wrong, right, Craig? What year was it?
It's 1989.
It was in 1989.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we're wrapping. No, I have one more. Excuse me, Angela, 3 minutes.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Assemblywoman Matilde Frontos, thank you very much for that. Was a great town hall, very informative. I have two issues. First is the art walls. They didn't do anything bad this year, but remembering last summer, I asked Coney Island Alliance to work preventively with them and any other open air music venues on location of the speakers. So when the last summer,
One second, sweetie, I'm trying to find out, can someone mute whoever's that person? Or do mute all and then she can unmute herself, Angela?
Should I mute my?
No, there's somebody in the background. Eddie, can you do all and then Angela can unmute herself?
No, it's just, I think it's background noise.
It's just me at my, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, guys. I'll try to speak up. So last season, art walls were bombarding our buildings, like blasting with the music on low frequency to the point that our windows were shaking. So to prevent this very easy, you just have to rotate the speakers toward the ocean, not towards the residential building. So Coney Island Alliance said they will look up into it because it's two more venues there that doing it sometimes. There is a DJ that is playing music next to aquarium. They like to aim at the building, which I understand because it creates a certain echo and it amplifies the sound, but doesn't help people who live in there. Otherwise, we pretty much enjoy the music from the boardwalk if it's not blasting. That's one thing. And the second thing is the architectural chapter. architectural chapter of AAA Institute together with Van Allen Institute and Boardwalk Alliances is working on the draft for architectural competition for the boardwalk. So the working name is Revision the Boardwalk. It's only a draft right now. If Community Board 13 is interested in reviewing it and have some input, I will be happy to share it with you. And once it's complete, it will be open for community to comment on it and add to the program or take out. Basically, it's focusing on using sustainable wood and keeping boardwalk as a boardwalk, not as a sidewalk. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Joanne, when is your next police council meeting?
My next meeting is in June, but I have to say something. For everybody that was at the last meeting heard my announcement about Coney Art Rules and that we were having DEP come down, which is next week, to do a reading because, in fact, contrary to what we've been told all these years, there is no excessive limit for amusement area. In other words, they have to abide by all the rules that are in place. So we're getting them to come down to give us a base reading before they do a concert and then when they start, so that we know going in that this is where you have to be. If you're not, then you're going to be shut down, fined, or whatever it is they tell us we can do. But that was discussed at the May council meeting, so it's all in place. The other thing I have to tell you, if you continue to have a problem with the noise, please call 311. If I don't have it registered that we can look it up, all this, and I'm the worst culprit, I did it myself all these years. If it's not on record that we can look it up, the city says to us, well, there's no complaints, so what do you want us to do? So please call 311, get your number, and then it's automatically put on record. Thank you.
I want to piggyback off Joanne. Joanne, the reason I say your June meeting is because I was going with, saying permits are given by NYPD, the sound permits. So please show up at their June meeting and bring that issue up again. Hopefully they'll have some more answers for you. And she's absolutely right. I am a fan of 311. You need to have everything recorded. And those, correct me if I'm wrong, Joanne, because you're the president of the council, I believe any 311 related police complaints go automatically show up at the police, I guess, radar right away.
Yes, we have automatic contact.
So please call 311. I'm a big fan of that because we have worked with a lot of the 311 complaints that we receive from the constituents and pass it over to the agencies that have helped us and have helped us with those with their issues. So I thank you. Okay, I don't think I have any more speakers unless Barbara has a question because she has her hand raised.
Yes, I just wanted to tell Angela that she can have all her friends also call and they can be anonymous if they're afraid.
Right.
But the more calls you get, the better people know what's going on. So your friends who are in that area having the same problem, let them call, even if they don't want to give their name, it's okay.
Thank you so much, Barbara. I know that, and I encourage people from our building to do just that. I mean, unfortunately, everybody complains. Not everybody will follow up with this, but we'll keep pressing. Thank you.
Okay. I think the public session is closed unless I missed an elected official. Did I miss anyone? Did I miss a speaker? Okay, so now we're gonna reverse back. Sorry, I was gonna go ahead and then I forgot. We have Miss Anderson from the Summer Youth Employment Program. Thank you for being patient with us.
Okay, there we go. Whoopsie.
I will give you the max is 15 minutes. I prefer 10.
Yeah, I don't think I'll need 15. But we'll see with questions, but I'm going to share my screen. So good evening, everyone. My name is Shireen Anderson, and I'm the Community Engagement Manager for Brooklyn TCAC. TCAC is the Transition College and Access Center.
I'm sorry, Ms. Anderson, you said you were sharing your screen. I see nothing on the screen.
Oh, no, I haven't. I just figured I'd do an intro and then I'll share it real quick. So, and we work with high school students with an IEP. So now I'm gonna try and share. Host disabled, you have to give me permission. When I click the share screen, it says host disabled the screening privilege.
He's working on it now.
No worries, sounds great. So while they work on it, so, okay, let's see. Gonna try now, all right, hopefully this is it. Share, a lot of things. Okay, great, do you see something?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fantastic, okay, great. All right, awesome. So as I mentioned, with the Brooklyn TCAC Transition and College Access Center, and there is a TCAC in every borough. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but let me, oopsie, there you go. You still see that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so our mission and vision statement for the Transition and College Access Center is to support schools and families by facilitating a seamless transition for students from school to adult life. All students are provided with experiences that foster their academic, social, emotional, and vocational growth and excellence, facilitating multiple pathways to graduation and success after high school. So our division and all the divisions, because as I mentioned, there is a TCAC in all 5 boroughs. So I just represent Brooklyn, but there's one in the Bronx, Staten Island, Queens, and Manhattan. We specifically serve families and students with an IEP. Some of you may know what an IEP is, but an IEP, the acronym just really stands for Individualized Education Program. And it just means that the students may have, you know, any varying degrees of a disability. I tell the story all the time that if me and Joe Biden and James Earl Jones and Michael Updike we're going to school right now, they'll say we have an IEP because we all have one thing in common, and that is sometimes we stutter, right? So, you know, having a disability ranges across the board. Some people hear the word disability and they immediately think of somebody in a wheelchair. That's not necessarily the case. So our office really serves to help students and their families with an IEP. And we do that by, you know, various stakeholders, you know, of course, students and families, post-secondary institutions, so colleges and universities, business entities, educators, and community-based organizations like yourself. So, you know, we really try to connect with a lot of the various community boards throughout Brooklyn, because obviously constituents live everywhere, students live everywhere. And so, you know, we have students, we have families, and we have constituents that live in the Community Board 13 area, Coney Island area, who have students who go to school that might have an IEP, and they may not know about our services. And so that's why, you know, we like to come on and present to inform you about the opportunity that you have and the resources that we are here to serve. So what is the overarching goal? I'm not going to read all this verbatim, but there's 7 overarching goals, right? So one is to develop and provide transition-focused information and resources and linkages as we prepare students and their families and staff to support them as they prepare for college and career. Number 2 is to engage community-based organizations like yourself and businesses to establish a work-based learning opportunities and employment access for students with disabilities. So what that basically means is, and I talk about it in a little bit, we've got 2 big programs that we do throughout the year. One is Summer Youth Employment, which I'll talk about in a little bit, SYEP. And the other one is TOP, Training Opportunities Program, which takes place in the fall. And we want to connect and have linkages to businesses and organizations within the community that can take on these students to do internships so that they can, you know, get some work experience so that when they graduate from high school, they have that under their belt. The nice thing about it is that we pay the students $15 an hour. And so we just need organizations and businesses to take on the students to do the internships. And I'll get a little bit further deeper into that in a little bit. Another aspect that we do is that we facilitate students access to college and career learning experiences that will support them in obtaining their graduation and diploma requirements. We support the administration with age-appropriate transition assessment. So what that basically means is, TCAP is divided into two sections. There's an operational side, which I'm a part of, and then there's an instructional side with an instructional lead and 2 teacher trainers. And that instructional side provides a number of workshops and consultancies throughout the year for both teachers, families, and students. So sometimes we may get a call from a family and say, hey, my son, as an IEP, he's graduating from high school. He doesn't want to go to college. What can you do to help me support my child? And so that department helps them within that aspect. Again, we also engage families in the transition and post-secondary process for the students. We develop and lead evidence-based professional development for staff. That's our instructional side. And of course, we coordinate and facilitate work-based learning opportunities for students with an IEP to build both vocational and pre-vocational skills and experiences.
Не будешь просто спать ночью, если ты легла сейчас.
Oh, okay, that's not, I think someone is just talking. Okay, so I mentioned a little bit a while ago about the 2 programs that we do throughout the year. One is our training opportunities program. So, we live in a world now where everything is right, pre-COVID versus post-COVID, right? So pre-COVID, Brooklyn alone serviced 2,000 high school students in an internship in the fall. Mostly those internships in the fall happens at the school, but there are some that happens outside the school if we can create those linkages with businesses to take on the intern. Post-COVID, we had to pivot like everybody else. So, pre-COVID, the students were doing the internships in person. When COVID hit, we still did top. We couldn't facilitate 2,000 students because budgets were cut and a lot of different things happened, but we did the program still with about 200 students. We provided them with a stipend and they did the program virtually. So in 2020 and 2021, we still did the program virtually. If there's an upside to COVID, one of the upside to COVID was because we were doing the program virtually. Normally the students cannot do an internship outside the borough that they live because they may not be travel trained, we don't want to traveling on the train late at night, etc. But when COVID hit, like everybody else, everybody pivoted to doing work virtually. And so we were able, because you're virtual, to create partnerships with organizations that are outside the borough, that are outside the state, where students could work. So a great example is a company called Independent Science. They're based in Tennessee. And the company is founded by a gentleman who is sight impaired. 90% of the staff is sight impaired. And so, we were able to work with that company. We brought on about 4 interns throughout the course of the year. Some did summer youth employment, some did top. And they were able to work with Independent Science doing, we had a young lady who's very skilled at doing artwork. So she created flyers for them. Another person created something like an Alexa type that would speak to the individual, etc. So we were able to form linkages with companies and businesses that weren't necessarily based in Brooklyn and expose these students to working for companies that they would normally not have that opportunity to do. And so TOP really includes a number of things, right? So career-focused research projects that we've done, job shadowing, school-based enterprises, and of course, internships. We're actually just wrapping up TOP for this year. We did it, began in December of 2021, and it went through about, I would say, April, and it's ending May 6th, because that's when all the timesheets come in. We gave them a stipend this year of $200, not as much as we did pre-COVID, but we're hoping to return to pre-COVID numbers in hopefully the fall of 2022. So if there are any businesses on here that may be interested in taking on a student for an internship in the fall, feel free to reach out to me. I'll drop my information in the chat at the end, and I'll also email some information to the community board members to send out to everybody on this call and to share out. But please, we're always looking for businesses to partner with. And I see Mr. Christopher raised his hand. So let me finish and then I'm going to get to you. Okay. I won't forget. Trust me. All right. I see you. Okay, dokes. So that was top. Our next thing that we're in the midst of right now, along with everybody else, is SYEP, Summer Youth Employment Program, right? The mayor is mandated that he wants 100,000 youths to have jobs in the summer. And, there's all these different partnerships being made, but sometimes, students with disabilities are left out in the cold, right? So our office is here to make sure that we want to make sure that we have partners that will also, it's great that you're hiring the general population for internships, but we also have, students who live in the area who we want to give that opportunity to. So as we all know, Summer Youth Employment connects NYC youths with career exploration opportunities and paid work experience during the summer. Participants have the opportunity to explore their interests and career paths, develop workplace skills, and engage in learning experiences that will help them develop social, civic, and leadership skills. So SYEP is broken up into two areas. The younger youths, 14 to 15, they're gonna participate in something called project-based learning, which is virtual. So they will not be at a work site, but they will be doing their project-based learning internship virtually. And then there's the older youths, 16 to 21, and these are the youths that we're trying to find internships for in person with businesses.
Miss Anderson, you have 3 minutes left, and if you need Q&A, you're not gonna have time.
Oh my, how did 10 minutes go so fast?
Actually, I gave you 15, and you have 3 to go.
All right, so, so this page, I'm not really gonna go over it because it's just who's eligible to apply. If you happen to have a student and you want them to apply, you can send it to Brooklyn TCAC. The deadline has passed, but we're still accepting applications until they tell us no more. This just shows you the timeline that goes on. So SYEP begins July 5th to August the 12th. These were just the documents that the students need, but once you email me, we can go over that. And we have another thing called pre-ETS. And again, I'll drop my information in the chat. This is something that we do in partnership with Access VR. And the students can apply with our office and they can go through various workshops that are done by teachers. Those are the various workshops: job exploration, work-based learning, counseling, placement readiness, and self-advocacy. And this is the same thing, just broken down in more detail. Again, if anybody's interested, I'm going to put my information in the chat and you can reach out to me, and then I can go over more details with pre-ETS.
Okay, Christopher, you have a question? Eddie, remove the chat. I mean, the presentation.
Yes, as a student who graduated class 04 with an IEP, I am glad to see this program going through because I didn't have to use BESIT for one other reason, because they didn't believe in people with disability. They think mental health was the only one. So, and as an advocate for people with disabilities, I still keep advocating. So I'm glad to see this program still going through. I'm glad we're talking about IEPs on this. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Any other questions?
It's so very important. And as I say, we were trying to get Wonder Wheel to take on some interns for SYEP, but I've been trying to reach them. It's been a little difficult. So if anybody here has a connection directly to Wonder Wheel and get them to call me back, I'd love it.
We'll give you the information for the Alliance and they'll contact you. Now, any other questions?
Yeah, Lucy, I have something quick.
Go ahead, Dave.
This program, we take a lot of this summer help program in Seagate for summer help and stuff. I don't know if you have us on the list.
No.
We've been doing it for a bunch of years. The Seagate Association.
Oh, I didn't know that. No, I'd love to connect with you. Is this Dave?
That's me.
Okay, yes. So I will connect with Mr. Eddie. I'm sure he has your email.
Yeah, Eddie sent it to me because we usually get 8 or 9 people every year.
Great.
For the summer and stuff, and they do work the beach. We have beach work. We have a lot of maintenance work and stuff like that, and we're always welcome.
Oh, okay. No, absolutely. I'll definitely connect with Eddie tomorrow because we're collecting worksite applications as we speak, and I would love to get you on board.
Yeah, we might already be on board because we've been doing it for a while, and I think they actually stay on for actually extended times a couple of times.
Yes, you may be on board with DYCD, but you're not on board with Brooklyn TCAT because we have a special population. So we'll talk about it for sure.
Okay, cool.
Thank
I
you.
do have one question, just by curiosity. You said that the mayor's goal is to employ how many youth? And do you know what was the amount prior to this mayor?
So I don't want to misquote. So I do not know what the amount was prior to the mayor. I know for sure, though, it was nowhere near 100,000 youths. Maybe it was 50. I don't know. I don't know what the number is. I don't want to be misquoted, but I know that the mayor back earlier in about April or March, probably March.
So if it's 100,000 youths and it's increased, let's give him some credit. Let's say it went up 50%. You have any idea why they're still doing lotteries?
Yeah, I know they do. They do. DYC.
That makes no sense to me. If you're trying to make sure all these young kids get jobs, but yet you're giving them lotteries. I mean,
yes. And I want
placing them.
Right. Speaking of the lottery, I'm so glad you mentioned that because TCAT, because we serve a particular population, we also have to do a lottery, but our lottery is a lot smaller. And 99% of the time, everybody who applies to TCAT will be chosen because our pool is a lot smaller. So for example, if you have a student with an IEP and they apply directly with DYCD, they're competing with 20,000 kids, right, for a slot. If they apply with Brooklyn TCAT directly, they're competing with 1,000 students for a slot. So so that's number one. And because we have a certain amount of pool, we always get everybody in, right? And the second thing is because our students have an IEP, we provide very hands-on. So we have monitors who work with us during the summer, and they work with the businesses and they work with the students to ensure that the internship is a success.
Great, thank you. Thank you, everyone. And Eddie will get to you the information from the Alliance.
Mr. David, thank you so much. It was
and Dave as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Adoption of the minutes. Any corrections? Any edits? Anyone, because I can't see the whole screen. Okay, motion to accept the minutes as presented. Joanne and Pat.
Okay, Madam Chair. Lucy Mujica Diaz,
Yes.
Zunera Ahmed,
Yes.
Shirley Akins, Lakeisha Bowers.
Shirley Akins is no longer a board member. Please remove her off the list.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, she quit.
Thank you very much, Chair. Sorry about that. Lakeisha Bowers.
Yes.
Thank you. Dion Brown.
She was here.
I saw her. Yeah, I don't. Okay, I'll come back to Dion. Patricia Brown.
Yes.
Thank you. Maria Caggiano. I'm sorry. Okay, that's Marion Cleaver.
Yes.
Nadine Dabney. Mark Davidovich.
Yes.
Lolita Divalova.
Yes.
Thank you. Wanda Feliciano.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Susan Flaschenberg.
Yes.
Thank you. Olga Fort.
Yes.
Brian Gottlieb.
Yes.
Brian Granoff. Selena Grant.
Yes.
Thank you. Ronald Greenberg.
Yes.
Thank you. Abram Hanif.
Yes.
Thank you. Amaryllis Herrera.
Yes.
Queenie Hewling.
Yes.
Thank you. Bernard Kaufman. Yelena Macklin.
Yes.
Pat O'Brien.
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, thank you, sir. Joseph Packer.
Yes.
Milagros Quiles.
Yes.
Thank you. Michael Quinn,
Yes, Michael.
Shimon Rakowski,
Yes.
Michael Russo, oh, okay, thank you. Yes, I heard you. Thank you. Jeff Sanoff,
Yes.
thank you. Fran Schwartz,
Yes.
thank you. Tatiana Siegel,
Yes.
Pervez Siddiqui,
Hannah, he's here. He gave me the message. His audio is not working.
I can't accept it. I can't accept it.
is he allowed to put it in the chat, Madam Chair? Okay. Michael Silverman,
Yes, Michael.
thank you. Pat Singer, Pat Singer, Pat Singer. Her audio. There you are.
Say yes.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat. Evelyn Strasser. Okay, I'll come back to Evelyn. Jack Subin.
Yes.
Thank you. Barbara Teitelbaum.
Yes.
Thank you. Edita Volovodovskaya.
Yes.
Thank you. Gloria Watkins.
Yes.
Thank you. Joanne Weiss.
Yes.
Thank you. Annette Wesley.
Yes.
David Wynn.
Yes.
Komali Zairi.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm coming back to Dion Brown.
Yes.
Thank you, Dion.
You're welcome.
Is Mario Caggiano here? Okay. And I do not have.
Yes, yes.
If Perez puts his camera on and shakes his head, I can accept it. No, I don't know if that's really him without hearing his voice. I can't accept it. Sorry. If you guys put your camera on and you shake your heads, yes, no, we can accept it because we can see your face. But if your name is there, and you can't speak, we can't accept it. So one more try. Perez?
Pervez Siddiqui.
Okay, we're done.
Okay.
Give us the count when you get a minute, please.
No, hold on. You missed Evelyn Strasser.
You're right.
Believe she called her. Oh, thank you.
Evelyn Strasser. I see her. I don't know where she went. Evelyn, are you there still?
I saw
Yes.
her.
She's. I can see her.
Shaking her head,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Okay.
Shaking her head, yes.
Yes. Thank you. Okay.
She's
Thank you,
doing
Michael
wonderful.
Silverman. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Anyone else that she missed? Okay, let's move on. Chairperson's report, I only have 2 items. One item is we confirmed with there was a question about district leaders being board members. Short version, we got a confirmation from the borough president's office. They are eligible to be board members. If you need to receive the email, Eddie will forward it to you. Secondly, when and if we receive in my tender the new board members list, we are expecting 5 new board members. I would like our members that have a phenomenal history in this community board to reach out to me and participate in being a mentor for the new members. So I will, if not, I will try to start selecting people, but I'm trying a new program that we will assign a mentor to each new member so we can walk them through voting, how to vote yes when you call for the minutes, not yay, hello, I'm here, and how to recuse yourself, abstain, and vote yes or no, and what's the difference? Because even including me, I don't read the book when you hand it to me, and I wait till I follow everyone else. And in addition, not to follow everyone else because they vote a certain way. So anyone that feels that they have a lot of knowledge on community boards, please reach out to me. And then when I receive the list of the new members, we will have maybe an hour meeting so we could have them get information from you and you can train them on how to be a professional or a successful board member. Thank you. Those are my 2 reports. Eddie?
Yes.
You're up.
As you know, we had a busy month. We had the YMCA do their Healthy Kids at the end of the month of April. It was well attended. It was really nice. This past weekend, they also had a health fair at Cary Gardens during the Brooklyn Half Marathon. So it was quite interesting how people were getting around. We also had the creek cleanup, which was nice. The Parks Department put it together. And they're also doing a horseshoe crab counting. So if people are interested, contact the office. We'll give you some dates. We'll also put it in the newsletter when the next one's coming up. Certain meetings are coming up. As mentioned before, Lucy mentioned that there's that education, transportation, and public safety meeting next Wednesday, June the 1st, dealing with PS 253. We'll discuss more about it. The agenda will be out on Facebook this evening. Also, we have the beach opening tomorrow. It's at 12 noon. If anyone's around, Dino's Wonder Wheel, 12 noon. It should be nice to have the beach opening officially. And also, we were given out 2 information about workshops from the civic engagement. One about motion and amendments training is tomorrow night. So if you have time, it's tomorrow night. I'll put it in the chat, the link. And also the role of parliamentary on June the 13th. And those are open to the public. So if anyone wants to attend, you can attend. All right, that's my report.
Okay, cool. Eddie, can you circulate those back around to the board members?
Yes, I definitely will.
I would appreciate that. Thank you. Sam?
Hi, good evening. 2 announcements. Number 1 regarding dancing at the library. The swingers, you can learn to swing dance on Tuesdays.
You got me scared there when you said swingers. I was like, wait a
No, swing dance. It's a coin. It's for kids. All right, definitely swing dance sign up. All right, sorry about this. Let's start over again then. All right, so swing dance at Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Saturdays from 2 o'clock until 3:30. No experience or partners needed, Lucy. And adult, to sign up, you pretty much go to library at 1901 Mermaid Avenue to the 2nd floor at the reference desk to sign up for the dancing classes, swing dance. And the second item is about the prom. Pretty much all graduates, 5th, 8th, 12th grade. If you want to pretty much for like a free makeup, basic hairstyle and basic haircuts, you can book it. You must RSVP by June 7th, please. And the event pretty much will be at June 22nd, 4:30 to 8 o'clock. In order to book it, you must have permission from a guardian or an adult. And please RSVP with Lakeisha, 929-241-9525, 929-241-9525. And also, if you need a prom dress, it's also available. Ask if you need it. And I'm going to post this in the chat. One more time for the prom, for the basic makeup, hairstyle, and haircuts, to RSVP with Lakeisha, 929-241-9525. Thank you, Lucy.
Okay, Fran, I hope to see you there dancing away. Let's move on. Okay, committee reports. Susan. Are you still with us? Susan?
Okay, now I'm cooking. All right. Good evening, everybody. As you can see from the agenda, the nominating committee met on May 12th to form its slate of recommendations for the offices to be subject to election. As listed in the agenda, the nominating committee slate is as follows. For chairperson, it's Lucy Mujica Diaz. First vice chair is Jeff Sanoff. Second vice chair is Zunera Ahmed. Secretary is Shimon Rinkowski, and treasurer is Dion Brown. Now we have a little bit of an update from the May 12th meeting. As you can see from the agenda that Tanya Siegel had also submitted her name in nomination for treasurer. However, in an email from Ms. Siegel dated May 20th, she withdrew her name from consideration for treasurer. Accordingly, there is only one candidate as of this moment for treasurer, and that is Dion Brown. So that's just some clarification, up-to-date news. At this point, regardless of what the nominating committee has submitted, I now want to open the nominations for any of these positions to all board members. Any board member that would like to submit their name in nomination for any of these offices, chairperson, first vice chair, second vice chair, secretary, or treasurer, please let it be known now. Just to let you know, this is the only time you can submit your name in nomination. The nominations will be closed at this meeting. So does anybody want to submit their name in nomination for any of these offices?
Excuse me, Sue?
Yes.
We should mention that you can nominate yourself if you wish.
Yes, you can. I should have mentioned that. You can nominate yourself. If you nominate someone else, that person must confirm and accept the nomination. So you can nominate yourself. So please either raise your hand or take yourselves off mute and state so. I don't see any hands. Eddie, do you see any hands? Okay. Again, anybody who wants to submit their name or submit another name in nomination for any of the offices, please do so now. This is the last call.
Susan, due to the fact that people have audio issues, I will be happy to accept it through a chat, but they still need to put their face on and shake their head and bobble and do whatever they want to do so we can get their attention.
Agreed. Okay, so either put it in the chat or do something that you are submitting your name. I will wait maybe another 20 seconds. Okay, I do not see any names or any information in the chat. I also do not see or hear anyone else at this point. Going once, going twice. I am now closing the nominations for the officers for this election. Can I have someone to concur that for me, please?
I'll be happy to concur.
Thank you. Okay. At this point, the final slate for nominations for the community board officers are as follows. For chairperson, Lucy Mujica Diaz. The nomination for that position is closed. For first vice chair, the nomination is Jeff Sanoff. The nominations are closed. For second vice chair, the nomination is Zunera Ahmad. Nominations are closed for that position. For secretary, the nomination is Shimon Rinkowski. Nominations for that position, secretary, are closed. For treasurer, the nomination is for Dion Brown. the nominations for treasurer are now closed. Considering that there is no opposition to any of the positions, I believe at this point, we can ask the secretary to cast, oh, no?
She would have to cast it in June.
In June, okay, my apologies, I'm getting ahead of myself. So
you could explain the procedure, that's fine.
Okay, because there's no opposition to any of the candidates, the community board secretary can, at the June meeting,
Not can, will.
Thank you, will cast one vote to elect all of these individuals to the positions that they have been nominated for. Any further comments or questions?
You're almost done. Click the button in the bottom left to continue.
Sorry. That was a voice from beyond.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what would happen, and I guess maybe we'll cross that bridge if it happens. If any of the members that are on the slate are not reappointed, I believe you might have to go back to the drawing board, but we'll cross that bridge once we get the list, and hopefully we'll get it before the next board meeting. Okay. Thank you very much. I think I'm gonna speak for everyone else. Thank you for allowing us to remain. Moving on, public hearing executive committee. The first item that we presented was the new hiree of the community assistant. Lucia is with us. And I misspoke at the executive meeting. We have 5 people apply, not 4. There were 2 no-shows, 1 cancellation, and 2 interviews, and Lucia was 1. The second person that was interviewed was a gentleman. Basically, he didn't even know what a community board does. He had no knowledge what community board does. He didn't even have to take the decency to check out the websites, at least fake it some way, somehow. So I told him, thank you very much, but do your research when you come for an interview. So we interviewed Lucia. Lucia's background is mainly in retail, but she has held a position for administrative work, which that's what she's switching to from her retail history background. And she lives in the community. She knows elected officials, well, not all, but she knows what elected officials do. She also has the knowledge of what community boards do. So with, as I said, 5 candidates, not many, this posting was up for a very long time, and we kept begging and begging, and we didn't receive many applications, as you can see. So Eddie, I, and Jeff met with her, and we selected Lucia. She's here with us. If you don't mind putting on your camera, introduce yourself, and then we will vote on, I will give 2 or 3 questions if anyone has, and then we will vote on hiring her for the position. Lucia?
Yes, hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Lucia. I live in Luna Park, so I'm right here around the corner.
Okay. Do you want to say anything else, or is that good with you?
That's good with me. I'm very glad that I got this position. Looking forward to working with everybody.
Any questions for Lucia?
I have a question. Can you hear me, Lucy?
Yes, Pat.
The community board that votes on staff?
Unfortunately, that was a ruling from the BP's office that we have to do this now.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That was not a few months ago, more than a few months ago. I would say 6 months ago or something like that.
Yeah, but it was 3 years when they made the ruling.
Oh, it was 3 years. Wow.
And
so the ruling is, the community board has to vote on staff. They have to vote on increases. They have to vote for if we want to remove our district manager, but not if we want to remove the staff that goes internal. meaning dismissed them. Any other questions?
Lucy, if this needs a vote, does it need like motion
It
or?
does not because it came out of committee,
Gotcha.
but any other questions? Okay, it was unanimously voted, 14 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstained, 0 recusals. Since it came out of committee, we don't need a first or second motion.
I'm sorry, Lucy, just one more question. What committee did it come out of?
We met with the executive committee the other night.
Oh, executive committee. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Roll call.
Thank you, Chair. Lucy Mujica Diaz,
Yes.
Zunera Ahmed,
Yes.
Lakeisha Bowers,
Yes.
Dion Brown.
Yes.
Thank you. Patricia Brown.
Yes.
Thank you. Maria Caggiano. Marion Cleaver.
Yes.
Mark Davidovich.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Lolita Divilova. Oh, Lolita Divilova.
Yes.
Wanda Feliciano.
Yes.
Susan Flashenberg.
Yes.
Olga Ford.
Yes.
Brian Gottlieb.
Yes.
Selena Grant.
Yes.
Thank you. Ronald Greenberg.
Yes.
Abram Honey. Abram Honey. Is that my audio?
No, I don't think it's your audio. I just muted someone whose audio I think it is. So I think
My
it should
apol- Thank you, Zanera. My apologies. Abram Hanif, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Abram.
I think
Amaryllis-
the baby voted for her.
Oh.
Yes, the baby is giving my attendance.
Amaryllis Herrera,
Yes.
Queenie Hewling,
Yes.
Yelena Mackman,
Yes.
Pat O'Brien,
Yes.
Joseph Packer,
Yes.
Milagros Quiles,
Yes.
Michael Quinn,
Yes, Michael.
Shimon Rakowski,
Yes.
Michael Russo. Yes, okay, thank you. Yes, I saw. Okay, thank you. Jeff Sanoff,
Yes.
Fred Schwartz,
Yes.
thank you. Tatiana Siegel,
Yes.
Pervez Siddiqui,
Yes.
thank you. Michael Silverman,
Yes, Michael.
thank you. Pat Singer,
Yes.
Evelyn Strasser, Evelyn Strasser,
She says yes.
You see?
Thumbs
Oh,
up.
got it, thank you. Jack Subin,
Yes.
Barbara Teitelbaum,
Yes, and good luck.
Edita Volovodovskaya,
Yes.
thank you. Gloria Watkins. Gloria, you still there? Okay, I'll come back to Gloria. Joanne Weiss,
Yes.
Annette Wesley,
Yes.
David Wynn,
Yes.
Komali Zairi,
Yes.
Gloria Watkins.
Yes.
Thank you, Gloria. And that's it. I'll count. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Hannah, did you give us the roll call of the minutes? Or
I
missed it?
tried to. I don't think you heard me, but I'll give it to you now if that's okay. It's 38 yes. And it's
Okay.
approved. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. There has, a few members have asked me that we voted a few months ago about removal of a board member. I can't not speak on that issue. The only thing I can tell you is that it's in the hands of Oath right now. They are having hearings and we will hear about their decision in a few, hopefully in a month or so, end the conversation with that. So moving on, I'm going to change the agenda like I usually do so we can do the last vote for the roll call to go and leave your bedrooms and go to your living rooms. Old business. Old business? Nada? Buenos. New business? Nobody?
Lucy, this Gloria.
Hello.
Okay, as we had training with the Neighborhood Advisory Board, and it's coming up starting next month with the assessment of our District 13 with the Neighborhood Advisory Board. So anybody that want to volunteer to be on the Neighborhood Advisory Board, they could try to get in contact with me, or I send the office the phone number to the Neighborhood Advisory Board in Manhattan. That's one thing. And we're going to be doing surveys again to see what programs in our district that want to put in proposals and to see if they would be eligible to receive funds for their program. So once again, we're going to be doing surveys, assessments for our neighborhood, and it's going to be done this year online as well as face-to-face with safe precautions. That's all I have to say.
Okay, anyone else with new business? Good and welfare.
Lucy.
I have something to say, if possible.
Okay, I think, wait 1 second. I think Joanne's first, and then I don't know who else is speaking.
Okay.
Joe Packer. Let Joanne speak, and then Joe, go ahead after.
All right.
Please, thank you.
Definitely.
All right. On behalf of Brighton Beach, Coney Island, Kiwanis, I want to thank all the board members who attended and were donated to the Brighton Beach, Coney Island, Kiwanis dinner that was held last week. We have a special shout out to Assemblywoman Frontis for coming and handing out certificates, and to Congresswoman Malliotakis and Assemblyman Simblewitz, who, while they could not be there, sent certificates for our honorees, and to Assemblyman Bill Colton and Rabbi Weiner for always being there to support our group. Thank you all very much.
Okay, Joe Packer.
Yes. Well, mine should be pretty quick. I have 2 quick points. The Coney Island community.
Joe, you look kind of cute there.
Yeah.
That's my lovely wife.
I was going to say the same thing. He's looking a lot better.
Oh, no.
I tell you, I appreciate those good looks. All right. Well, first I want this just make a quick note that the Coney Island community, we lost a saint and a really community matriarch, our loving sister and mother of the church, and who worked very close along with our Pastor Quillis for years during the Mermaid, not the Mermaid Parade, but the Coney Island Brooklyn Day Parade. She passed away on Saturday. Mother Pastor Lonnie Mobley, and she's truly going to be missed. It's like 35 years that she administered the parade for us, and we're going to be having a funeral for on Wednesday. But I just want the community board just to recognize the big loss that's going to be for our community. Secondly, I would like to remind everyone that I'm the regional director for Brooklyn, for South Brooklyn, and also for Staten Island for Adventist Community Service. And that, what it does is really looks into not only disaster relief, but it also deals with food distribution. And we give out food every other Thursday. The next time we give it out is June 2nd and June 16th. We usually use the parking lot on West 17th Street between Neptune and Mermaid. And we'd be there for from 1 to about 6 p.m. So if you want anybody want to get in contact with me, my number, I'll put it in the chat if you want to help out. But it's a great opportunity. What we're trying to do is spread the word out because we have long lines. The line goes around the corner and there's a ton of food. But what we want to do is get the whole overall community to come out because unfortunately, our line is about 88 to 90% all mostly Asian. We're trying to make sure that everyone takes part in what we're trying to do. It's really a community thing. It's government funded, so we want to make sure the overall community comes out, and supports it, and benefit from it. Because especially with the price of food now, you can save on one time we give out a bag of food. They said the value of it is $200, so there's a big savings that we can help out the family with. So those are 2 points I would like to spring.
I hear you. I've been on those lines myself.
Lucy, I have one question.
Yes, Joanne.
Under the report on the public hearing, the executive committee, do we not have to notify the board of the vote that was taken about the meetings?
Yes, ma'am. I said I was rotating it because I wanted to make that the last.
Oh,
roll
I'm
call so we
sorry.
could-
I'm sorry.
That's okay. We're all tired.
All right.
And it's a little lengthy, so hopefully I'll be able to summarize it quickly, not as much as I did the other night mumbling on. Brian.
Yeah, on May 15th, Shorefront Toys for Tots joined with APNA and many other community organizations to put on our annual Eat celebration. And we were able to give out hundreds of toys to children in addition to PPE and food and clothing and a whole bunch of other things were distributed to the community. So on behalf of Shorefront, I'd like to thank APNA for their leadership and the wonderful job that everybody with APNA does, and my board, including Marion, who served as a guardian of the toys during the course of the event. And thank you everyone who came down to celebrate Eid, and this year we're going to reach 50,000 kids since we started the organization.
Great. Good to hear that. Ron Greenberg, you had your hand up. Ron? Did you want to say something? Your hand was up.
No, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so now let's move on to the last item, and let me try my best to be as brief as possible. Okay, we received this guidance from Steve Golden from the New York State Law Department. And if you would like to receive the email that was sent to the office, Eddie would forward it to you after I say what I have to say. And this is regarding the New York State emergency open meetings law. Okay. So the executive committee voted to continue to have virtual meetings until the state lifts the order. Please note, it is expected to expire on June 14th of this year. If lifted, we will have to do hybrid meetings until 2024. Any questions with that? Okay. An executive meeting will be scheduled to discuss emergency excuse absences, which can be overruled by the chair on an unneeded basis. So with that being said, if the committee comes up with, I don't like using the word ideas, but if they come up with saying we should use this and we should use that to excuse absence so people can be still home on Zoom, if I see, if I see a pattern of it being used and abused, I would not excuse people from attending meetings in person. Okay, hopefully I was brief with that. At that time, I suggested to the committee that we only have if we have to do hybrid meetings, we only have hybrid meetings for committees, because it will require us to have a quorum present and the remaining members can be on Zoom. The remaining members can be on Zoom, they can vote, they'll be marked present, but they will not be part of the quorum. Any questions with that? Did I explain that? It's a little mumbo jumbo, but hopefully I explained it. So I used an example of resiliency. We have 5 members, we need 3 to be present if we go with hybrid meetings. The other 2 can be on Zoom, they can vote, their attendance is counted, but they're not part of the quorum. So I need 3 people physically in the location of meetings. So I suggested to this executive committee, because our committees are so small, that would be workable to handle committee meetings. So I see no issues with that. The office has ordered equipment to be able to function and have the meetings at the office and mirror the laptop to the screen. In addition to, they purchased something called an owl, which that owl will circulate through the room, and then anyone that's zooming can see the people in the room. Any questions? Okay. I also suggested to the committee that only for the full board, we will have full in-person meetings. The reason I suggested this is because we need 26 bodies in person to make a quorum. I also suggested it because the locations that we are going to meet at, number one, most of them don't have Wi-Fi. Number two, most of them don't have a large screen. And number three, if 26 people commit themselves to attend a full board meeting and one person gets stuck at work or they get ill, and now we're down to 25, we lose the quorum, the 25 that are sitting there, we have to reschedule the meeting again. So my suggestion was to just leave the full board meeting in person if we have to go through hybrid, if we have to do hybrid / in-person meetings. Any questions? Everybody's good, everybody gets it, everybody's fine. I just want to say that if we have to have in-person meetings, if it's suggested that we have an in-person meeting in June and we don't have a quorum, we will be meeting in July, and then we will meet again in August, and then we will meet again in September. Because the city charter says you may not have meetings, it does not say you cannot have meetings, and we have to conduct business. So I will have an executive meeting when the state order is lifted, and it is expected to be lifted on June 14th. And if it's lifted on June 14th, then we have to decide if we're gonna have full board meetings all the way in person, or we can try hybrid / in person. But I honestly don't think it's gonna work because, as I said, the locations we have, we don't have Wi-Fi, it's small locations, and we don't have the equipment. Any questions? Jeff, I'll be back with you. Okay, I think hopefully everybody understand. Everybody's got it.
Lucy, I have a question.
Yeah, right. It's crazy.
Let me go to Jeff, Marianne, and Pat.
All right.
Just for the information.
And I think Joe Packer.
Okay.
Just to cite the information that the office will have in person for the committee meetings, but we also got some HEPA machines in there to have the air purified. So, you know, and we also said that if you want to wear a mask, it's up to you. So that's not
no, that's not what I said.
What'd you say?
What I will be doing is I will encourage everyone, in a sense of what you said, to wear a mask. If you choose not to wear a mask, you'll be sitting as far apart as possible.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Okay, I believe Marianne.
My question is, have you asked any other community boards what they're going to do?
Yes, we have. Some of them are already eager to go into a hybrid that has facilities that does have Wi-Fi and big screen and all that fun stuff. And others are remotely doing it at least till September. So they're expecting, you know, the emergency to be lifted. So right now, everything is planned for remote for the time being.
Yeah, because, excuse me, Lucy, in light of the fact that we're now in a COVID emergency almost, I mean, I haven't heard the governor say anything, but I don't think they're responding. The governor is responding to this crisis.
Well, it's expected to, well, we're not voting on this section. We're voting on right now. We're only voting to continue to have virtual meetings until it's lifted. So that's what we're voting on. The additional will be what we're speaking about is when it's lifted, and if it is lifted on June 14th, then we have to figure out if we're going to have no, we don't have to figure out, we will have to have hybrid meetings, and we would need to figure out how we're going to work it for full board, because it's workable for committee meetings.
Yeah, kind of.
Let's just go with Pat O'Brien, because I don't remember, and then Joe Packer.
Can you, hang on. All right. Okay, so whether it's the emergency's lifted or not, there are some people that are medically compromised. So rather than get a place that can do virtual, you're basically saying medically compromised people, you're no longer on the board. Is that how I'm understanding this?
Yep. No. What I'm saying is that the executive committee will come up with a list, a very small list of those, not the individuals, but the medical conditions that we feel might be excused absences, and those individuals can Zoom. But if it's abused, I will then tell that individual, you need to come in.
Wait a minute. It
because
can't
if
be
I
abused.
see
That person cannot come
and the
to
reason
meetings.
I say abuse, well, let me finish my sentence, Pat. The reason when I say abused, if I see and it's including myself, and unless people want to start deleting me, I couldn't care less. If I see you on Facebook, I got Julio's, no disrespect, having a nice little steak sandwich because you're having a fundraiser, okay, and then you're going to tell me next week you can't come to a meeting because COVID is here, then you're abusing it. And including myself, because I'm in Atlantic City every week with no mask. So that's when I say the abuse. Continue your question, Pat.
Okay, so I'm just talking about the legitimate person who cannot be in a room with a bunch of people without masks on. So they don't count toward quorum, but they can still vote at a community board meeting?
Virtually.
Listen, this came, as I said, Steve Golden sent us this, and we will forward you the email. So they can, if you're not able to attend the meeting for medical reasons, and I'm not gonna ask people some of the medical reasons because it's private. So I'm gonna trust that you're an adult and say, I can't attend the meetings because, you know, I'm scared of COVID, and, you know, we'll make every effort to excuse you, okay?
All right, that's not my question.
But at the full board meetings, you know, we will have, of course, I would encourage everyone to have masks. You can't force them, but we were looking for locations that are large enough that we can separate the people. So I know what your question is. I don't have the answer for you. I'm giving you what they're telling us what we have to do.
Right, and I want to verify what I thought I said you heard. If a person that's medically fragile and they don't want to be in a room with other people cannot come to a community board meeting and they attend hybrid, can they still vote?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And you guys are not going to make an effort to find a place where you can set up a computer and set up the internet so people can attend hybrid. Right now, you're saying there is no way you can do hybrid.
No, I didn't say that. I don't know if you were at the executive meeting, and I apologize if you were.
No, I'm just basing it on what I just heard you say right now.
No, but I want to answer that.
Okay.
I'm saying I apologize if you weren't there. I did say to the members at the executive meeting, please help us find a location. Please help us find someone that can help us with the tech if possible. And you know what? When was that meeting, Eddie?
Last week.
And I got 0.
Oh, well,
So,
actually, we got
yes,
one.
the office is working hard because the last location that we reached out to, and it might be feasible, we reached out to the YMCA, and they were very generous to say that there's a possibility they could give us the gym. If they give us the gym, everyone's been there, it's a large place, and I will tell those individuals that have masks, sit in the front, sit as close as you want to your friend, and those that don't have masks, sit in the back. But they don't have I think they have Wi-Fi. I'm assuming that the Y has Wi-Fi. We'll have to discuss it with them. But we're looking for places. And again, if members have places, let us know.
Well, that sounds like a solution, if the Y is willing to give us.
Well, that's only, believe me, it was like pulling his teeth.
Yeah.
I had to pull his teeth and remind him that he is here for the community, but I'm not gonna get there with that. So it's still not guaranteed. But if there's any locations, we really, really appreciate it. And it's only my suggestion about the full board meetings. If the executive committee says no, and I bring it to the full board, or I probably can't bring it to the full board if it's turned down. But if they say yes, and then we bring it to the full board, it's only my suggestion. But if not, we're gonna have to have hybrid meetings, and I don't know how we're gonna do it at the board meetings. People need to give me solutions. I'm going to end this. I'm gonna try to end this topic for a minute, and don't let me forget to vote on the original topic of continuing virtual meetings. Joe Packer. I cannot hear you.
Mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. I don't know why I kept put it on. Somebody kept put it back off every time I put it on. All right. Well, is there a budget for us to be able to arrange? No budget. How about the church? How about like St. Paul's? Have we reached out to St. Paul's? Because that's always been an
You
alternative.
know what? We've met at St. Paul's before.
Right. And I'll be glad to outreach and contact her and get back to you.
But you know what? My members have said to me that's too small.
No, it isn't.
St. Paul's is not.
St. Paul's not too small.
Yeah, that's
Well,
not.
I'm just giving you that. But again, we will reach out to St. Paul's as well. They have equipment?
Wi-Fi. Yeah.
They have Wi-Fi.
Okay, Eddie, please connect with Joe Packer to see if we can use that location and set it up. So if we go that route.
Sure.
But I want to remind everyone, if we go that route, we must have 26 members present. So if I get stuck in the train and I committed to go to the meeting, then you don't have a quorum because, you lose it and the meeting's canceled and see you in July. Oh my God, I'm moving. I got a lot of people. Ron Greenberg.
Good
Joanne,
evening,
I know
everyone.
you were last, sorry.
Good evening, everyone. Lucy, why the documents that you're referring to, what you mentioned to earlier about district leaders serving on the board, not being automatically emailed to all board members for the best interest of those who are not in attendance with us tonight, or in the event it may not be
Because
listed in next
it
month's
was
minutes?
questioned at a meeting by an individual. And if anyone will, and everyone gets the minutes, I'm sure you've received them. And if they would like that letter from the borough president's office, we will forward it to you. Would you like it? Eddie will send it to you.
Right, for the benefit of those who are not reading the minutes, shouldn't it be emailed out to everyone?
I mean, no, because it was questioned at a meeting. I told the individual I would search with the borough president. I mean, I would get the information for the borough president, and I could have just responded to that person and say, this is what I got. I didn't have to forward, I didn't have to mention it. I could have just responded to that individual, but I chose to disclose it. It's here. Anything else, Ron?
That's it.
Thank you. Priscilla.
No, it's actually Brian. Good evening, everyone.
I'm going to give you the chance, but go ahead.
I wanted to point out that it's possible for the community board to purchase a remote Wi-Fi hotspot that uses cell service in order to expand the possible locations that you could have meetings at.
Okay, so once again, Brian, reach out to Eddie so we can, I'm not a tech person, so.
I'm not sure how much it costs per month to rent a hotspot. That I don't know if it can be put into the budget.
It's not that expensive.
Like I said, I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's just another potential option.
Guys, they came up with ideas. Or
worth
roll this to
investigating.
Eddie, so we can try to work this together. Now, I'm going to interrupt again. This might not be all the solutions that you have given me. It might not be a solution for the Zoom meeting. Number one, when is it, Eddie? March, May 31st?
30th.
May 30th? No, I think it's the 31st. May 31st, the mayor's budget, the mayor will be having his budget hearings, which means that we cannot spend money until he says we can spend money. And that might be after June 14th but it will be definitely before June 30th. So that's another squash in that we have, another issue that we'll be dealing with. Barbara.
I just want to say, if we are going to do this, I would like to make sure that we have a practice session so everyone gets used to it. Might be a good idea.
Listen, if everybody shows up to the June meeting, there's your practice. I'll see you in September. I'm just, in a sense, I'm just saying.
But you're also behaving like the teacher in school where she's going to punish the whole classroom for the sins of a few. It's possible, though, we might have to have a July meeting and an August meeting. Why don't we just plan to start doing it in September?
I have a question.
Okay, Pat, because if the order is lifted, listen, for me, I would love to do this Zoom forever, okay?
No, but Eddie already said that other community boards have decided they're going to wait until
Wait, stop. What did Eddie say?
Other boards are going till September. That's what he said. When he was asked about other boards.
Well, I don't care what other boards are doing. If the executive order is lifted on June 14th, we will have to follow what was given to us by the New York State Law Department. I'm in enough trouble with the New York Law Department, and I'm not going there. If you guys can't, I'm sorry, Pat, if I'm being aggressive, but I have to follow the rules.
Perhaps for no good reason if there's another community board that won't start it until September. So what you're saying is they're gonna disobey a city order, is what you're saying.
And I was told, but then I was also corrected. I was told, and Jeff was at a meeting with me, that we were informed that community board members could either start getting removed if they don't go to the meetings because they're telling you have to do it, or they can be sued. I don't know. I'm hearing from A to B. I'm just gonna follow whatever they're telling me to do. And if the other community boards don't want to follow the rules, I can't control that.
Thank you.
Pat, I'm in enough trouble with the law department. Gloria.
Okay, we have Gloria and we have Joanne.
Yeah, I have Gloria, then I'll go with Joanne.
Mute myself. Okay. Lucy, this is a quick question. In the past, we didn't have no community board general meetings during the summer months. So I just want an update why we have them in July and August. And we normally
through the 15 minutes that I've been talking, what I said was, if we don't have a quorum for the June meeting and business has to be conducted, we would have to move it to July and August.
But that wasn't my question.
Conduct meetings. We have to continue business.
That wasn't my question. I was just saying, in the past, we haven't had any meetings during those 2 months. That's what
Correct.
I was just saying.
And in the past, we met in person and we didn't have this problem. So we had a quorum. We had every member there.
But again, I'm talking about not before you got on the community board. I'm just talking in past, way in the past. As long as I've been on it, we haven't had any meetings during the summer month. That's it.
And we will not have any unless we don't have a quorum. So we can conduct business. And in the city charter, it states you may not have meetings. It doesn't say you cannot. We have had emergency meetings in August.
Yes, you have.
In this
yes, I
board.
understand that. I understand that. I don't need a choir behind that. But Lucy, thanks for answering my question.
You're welcome.
You're gonna make me have a drink.
Don't worry, I'm gonna have two.
I know I'm only
Joanne.
No, I just, my question was to Eddie for clarification on the other boards, but Pat brought it up. So if they're gonna do it, more power to them.
Well, if you wanna speak on other boards, I know another borough.
Okay.
Another borough that is their borough president himself has directed that they are going hybrid meetings, and the question, nothing to be discussed. And if you do not show up to the meetings, you will be marked absent. And if those that are in Zoom, you must have your cameras on, because we're not gonna go with your names. You know, other boroughs are doing things a little more strict than us.
Okay.
So you want to go there. As far as what other community boards do, I can't control what they do. Some people follow the rules, some don't. I try to follow them. I'm never going to say I'm perfect. If I receive the information from my district manager or guidance from another person, which Craig seems to give me a lot of, 2-page documents, and I appreciate them. Sometimes I read them, sometimes I just press delete, to be honest. But when I do read them, he gave me some information, about certain things, but I can't control what others. I just could only go with what the borough president's office tells us to do and what the law department tells us to do. And I believe, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Pat himself that said, in the past, have we needed to vote for hiring people? And that changed 3 years ago, according to Eddie. I said a few months ago. We just have to follow certain rules. Not that we follow them all the time, but we can do our best. Any other questions? Okay, so now let's go back to the voting matter, and everyone can go back to their couch, except for Michael, because he's in the restaurant till midnight. So we're voting on for this community board to continue to have virtual meetings until the state lifts the order. That's all we're voting on. And then we will have a meeting to discuss the other stuff. Those who came up with ideas, I really, really appreciate it. Reach out to Eddie, give him those ideas, give him those locations, so we can reach out to those people as well. So if we have to go. But right now, I have to tell you the truth. We're really talking about a June meeting. If we have that one June meeting, we won't meet in July and August. And I gotta say, probably in September, unless, COVID, it starts getting higher and higher. And it starts getting higher and higher. They're gonna tell us, you have no choice. This is what you have to do. Okay. So since it came out of committee, 14 in favor, roll call, if there's no other questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Lucy Mujica Diaz,
Yes.
Zunara Ahmed,
Is this also the vote to exit the meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It
My
should
vote
be
is-
backwards then.
You're right, Barbara. Backwards it is.
But
Madam
it'll
Chair, so
be
this is a vote
started.
and roll call out, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll go back. Okay, Kamali Zaire,
Yes.
Oh,
David Wynn,
Bye.
David Wynn.
I'm here. Yes, yes, yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes. Good night.
Okay, good night. And that's Wesley,
Yes, good night.
Joanne Weiss,
Yes, good night.
Gloria Watkins,
Yes, good night.
Edita Volovodovskaya,
Yes, good night.
Barbara Titlebaum,
Yes, nighty night.
Jack Subin,
Yes.
Evelyn Strasser. Yes, okay. Pat Singer,
Yes.
Michael Silverman,
Yes, Michael, good night.
good night. Pervez Siddiqui,
He said yes.
yes, got it. Yes, thank you. Tatiana Siegel,
Yes, good night.
thank you. Fran Schwartz,
Yes.
thank you, Fran. Jeff Sanoff,
Yes, and I wish everybody a safe holiday weekend.
Michael Russo. Yes, okay, thank you. Shimon Rakowski,
Yes, good night.
good night. Michael Quinn,
Yes, Michael, take care.
thank you. Milagros Quiles,
Hey, yes.
thank you, thank you. Joseph Packer,
Have a nice
Good night.
weekend.
Good night, everyone.
thank you. Pat O'Brien,
I vote yes. Pat O'Brien, can you hear me?
yes, I heard you, thank you. Yelena Mackin,
Yes, good night.
thank you. Queenie Hewling,
Yes, good night.
good night. Amaryllis Herrera,
Yes, good night.
Good night. Thank you. Aram Hanif.
Yes, good night from me and baby.
Oh, good night, baby. Ronald Greenberg.
Yes, and good night to everyone.
Good night. Selena Grant.
Yes, be well and be safe, and good night, everyone.
Thank you. Same to you. Brian Gottlieb.
Yes.
Thank you. Olga Ford.
Yes, have a good night, everyone.
Susan Flaschenberg.
Yes.
Luanda Feliciano.
Yes, and good night.
Lolita Divilova.
Yes, good night.
Mark Davidovich.
Yes, good night.
Thank you. Good night. Marianne Cleaver.
Yes, and have a very safe weekend, everybody.
Thank you. Same to you. Patricia Brown.
Don't get sick.
Patricia Brown.
Don't get sick.
She's still muted. That's to unmute.
I'll come back to her.
Okay. Dion Brown.
Hello? Hello?
Yes. Hi.
Yeah.
I can.
I
Your
said
vote is.
thank you, and you did a good job.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Dion Brown.
Can we have her vote?
She said yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I said
she
yes.
She said yes. Sorry. Okay, Dion Brown.
Good night, all. Yes. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Well.
Lakeisha Bowers.
Yes.
Thank you. Zanera Ahmed.
Yes.
Thank you. And Lucy Mujica Diaz.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Everyone. Thank you for your patience. Sorry, I don't make the rules. I just try to follow them, and I still break them.
Great job, Lucy.
Everyone have a great night. Have a great Memorial Day. Is it right? No, next week.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, Lucy, I'm going to be there for the June meeting. I'll be one of the 26. Just want you to know. I'm not the first one.
and bring, we'll have somebody bring extra mask and goodie. I'll see if I get goodie bags.
I always wear my mask, no matter what.
We know you were the first one to wear that screen one that we do.
And Lucy, this is Chris. I'll bring you the washable mask.
Okay.
There you go. It's a bring gift day. Everybody bring bag.
Okay.
So,
Good.
mask for everyone. Thank you.
And also happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Okay. Bye, everyone. Good night. Come on. I had a